All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back. All right. So, Cancerians, happy Tuesday. Let's get into this, shall we? So, we are just about to celebrate tomorrow, which is the full moon. Now, this is also known as our snow moon, our ice moon, the moon where bear cubs are born. So there's lots of different names. That's just a few of them. But anytime we get those full moons, it's like bringing things up from the subconscious into kind of the conscious mind, so we can either release it or we can see what's been hidden even within our own selves. So that's kind of what I wanted to take a look at. Hi, Violet. Thank you for being here, love. We've got that Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords is somebody. I mean, if this is what's coming up from the internal self, I kind of feel like the character is pretty masterful at like being able to release some things that were stressful, and they might be this could be our Cancerian who is aware that like a lot of energy has changed inside of them. They're feeling more peaceful, they're feeling more harmonious. Maybe if they've been practicing meditation, whether in a more traditional sense or just, I mean, you can meditate in many different ways, right? I kind of meditate when I walk. I'm an active meditator. I don't, it's just my own way of like cleansing my mind and kind of like getting into like a kind of a different rhythm for myself. And that's what I would say is my meditation. But it feels like Cancerian could be recognizing that some things feel a lot better, that they're moving on from some things. Hi, everybody. So great to see you tonight. With that Five of Wands, this is definitely a Cancerian who's moving further away from conflict. They have way greater perspective now. They can think things out and they're not like tangled up in the midst of it. Now, this could also be that Cancerian is moving away from other people's conflict and they're seeing it from kind of a bird's eye view. This could be, dealing with old issues that had to do with a family life, for example, and how that then translated into, playing out patterns with other people in their life. But it really just looks like Cancerian is recognizing that they've learned an awful lot and they've learned how to master their own like reactions to things. Wow, this is going to help them immensely in a love relationship. This is fantastic. I really do feel like this is representing other patterns, and Cancerian has broken free of other patterns. They can see it. They can see it in their family members. They can see it in whoever, like was a template for them. And they're saying, you know what? I actually am going to have a really healthy, really happy empire. Me and my great love, me and whatever I choose to be my Four of Wands life, I'm going to be super successful, because what I'm realizing is like communicating is really important. Letting go of resentments is really important. Accepting one another's flaws is really important. Knowing that, we can have difference of opinions and still respect each other is important. I just feel like Cancerian has had these massive breakthroughs. In particular, it is being applied to the way they look at, I would say, a very important relationship, like the one that is in their heart, the one that is in their home. Now, I don't know if Cancerian already has a partner like this, or if they're just realizing that they're now ready for a partner like this because they see what would make a successful union. Prince of Cups, I'm thinking that they see what would make a successful union, and so now they're ready for that. They're realizing, I broke through some old patterns. Maybe I didn't have like parents that were the greatest at communicating, but I actually can see that in them now. And I'm not mad at them. I just know that I'm going to communicate better and different with my mate. I know that I'm ready to receive a mate. I know that I'm pretty whole. I'm pretty ready for love. I want to try this love thing again because I'm pretty sure I got it figured out how to make it successful. We've been having some great stories tonight. We got a Four of Cups. There is a certain someone, perhaps, on Cancer's mind. Could be that Cancer is going to be reaching out to them. Somebody who's been bummed. Maybe Cancer's thought a lot about what happened. They've, dealt with anything that they're like, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. I know this person's bummed about how it went down with us. I may be ready to talk to them again. it does kind of feel like Cancer may be taking the lead in, because they're the ones who've had this epiphany. They're the ones who felt really calm. They're the ones who can see things from the higher perspective now. So let me just change decks and let's just ask about him. Who is this Four of Cups? Got the Sun. He's somebody who typically is really happy, and I think Cancer made him so, so happy. Ace of Swords. He would give anything to talk to Cancer again. What is your regret about? Six of Pentacles, life force energy. His regret is about how much he did, or in this case, did not put into the connection with Cancer. I'm wondering, all this time I thought it was Cancer who was reflecting and seeing what, like their own patterns had been. I'm thinking now Cancer has figured out what this divine masculine's patterns have been. Like, wait a second, I was dealing with somebody who came from a really broken home, or maybe they had to bounce around a lot. Maybe they had to live in a lot of different places. Maybe they didn't have stability around them. Maybe they never learned how to communicate that well. Maybe I was expecting them to have skills that they didn't have yet. Maybe I'm seeing it through their lens. I'm seeing them through the higher perspective, and I'm realizing them trying to give to me, them trying to love me the way they could. Maybe I didn't convey to them some of the other things that I would need from them. So they did the best they could with what had been patterned to them. I'm thinking it's something along those lines, because we see that they were never so happy as they were with Cancer. We see that they feel beyond bummed out. They feel like they really lost their cup of love when they lost Cancer. But I think Cancer walked away from them because Cancer wasn't getting what they needed. But I think that this is hinting that Cancerian has figured out that they didn't know what I needed. I thought maybe for a while they just weren't giving me what obviously anybody should know would be necessary. But now I'm realizing maybe they didn't know. Maybe that was the best they could do, because they didn't have a better template to help them understand that. This really comes across like they're bummed over the fact that I guess I didn't give enough. I should have poured more in. And I say that because this cup is actually like someone is begging for coins here. But it's a Six of Pentacles. It's like, will you give to me? Yes, they did want Cancer to give to them. And they're bummed out that they didn't put more energy in with the life force energy. I think that they realized that they didn't give enough, but they don't really quite know where that was. Where was the amount that I didn't give enough? I don't know, because I don't have that background of knowledge. Seven of Wands. If they came from a place where they were swimming with sharks all the time, they have some significant setbacks in, I mean, I'm not saying that Cancerian has to go and take somebody back and then be like, okay, so let me train you and how to, be an expressive person or be a better partner, since you don't have those skills. It's not quite like that, even though that's what it's starting to sound like. But it is about being compassionate enough to know that if their background was fairly empty of support, where do we learn to be supportive? Where do we learn to connect if we've never been shown that? Cancerian might have been showing it to them and they were loving it, right? They have nothing but amazing emotions toward Cancerian, right? Nothing but good to say. They know that they messed this up, but it's almost like they don't quite know how they messed it up, because they don't quite know how to fix it, because they don't know quite what they were supposed to do. This feels like they came from a hostile environment, and that's a really big barrier. But if Cancerian understands that about them, let me ask this. Let me change the questioning. What do you want from Cancerian? The Six of Swords and the Knight of Wands. I want to move out of conflict with them, and I want to swiftly get back into the excitement and the passion. Okay, here's the problem. They want a lot of passion. They really, I think they crave Cancerians, like the physical body. They may love, intimacy with Cancerian. They don't want to be in conflict. They want Cancerian with them, but there is still this scattered energy. If that's what the underlying issue was here, and that's what Cancerian is starting to recognize, like, Scattered energy. They haven't, maybe this person's never had a home before. Maybe they've never actually had something that was like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is like where you're going to be, like you and me, we're going to actually build an empire. We're not doing scatter anymore. Maybe they've never not had, they've only known scattered energy. Let me ask this. What makes you like, what are your plans with Cancerian? Let's put it that way. 9 of Wands sideways. I feel like they already know that Cancer could help them to kind of like heal something, or at least their subconscious knows that. 2 of Wands. They kind of want to know what kind of a person or what kind of a man they can evolve into. They don't have a direct plan though. Why don't you have a direct plan? Why is it still like you're not 100% sure? 6 of Wands, and there's like 2 sides of the street here with that goblin head in the middle. See, I kind of think this person is astute enough to know I don't really have the skills to know how this works. The fact that they know there has to be some kind of healing still, and then maybe they can figure out what comes next, but they don't really have a plan because they haven't had that confidence. I mean, I think loving Cancer is like one of the high points of their life. I feel like it makes them feel really good. It makes them feel like they could do just about anything. But as far as like them being the confident planner of what comes next, the barrier to that is that there's still like a bit of a confusion about, I'm not sure who I'm going to end up as. And then, so I don't know what my limits are on what I could envision having with Cancerian. I don't think it's their lack of desire at all to be with Cancerian. I just think that they're realizing that where they're like ill-equipped to understand how relationships work, how building something stable works. Sorry, Aries is fluffing in the back. Okay, so Cancerian, what do you want with them? Ace of Cups. I want to love them. I want them to love me wholeheartedly. Big old Ace of Cups. Okay, if what we've seen here is the scenario, Cancerian, can you deal with somebody who is not as skilled as you, does not have the like the ability to emote successfully? Cancerian says, I don't 100% know. I got the 7 of Cups here because I'm still not sure what gaps in like standard emotional, connectivity they might be lacking, or what's missing here. So I don't 100% know that this is going to work with them, but I do know that I care deeply for them. Okay, let's turn to the universe then, because we need to kind of, this feels like a connection that could turn out to be the best thing ever, or it could implode. It kind of depends. Is this the deck? No, that feels wrong. Let's go this way. Universe, what is the best message here for Cancerian? Messenger of Cups. It is to still start slow, especially with loving somebody, and let them start loving us slow also. Even if this means like reversing things a little bit and saying, okay, I do care about this person. Clearly, we've already had some wobbly moments. Even if my plan is, well, I could see that we could be great together as the 4 of Wands if a bunch of things change. This says don't jump ahead to the 4 of Wands. Just start with, the pages are the first little steps forward. And if Cancerian has already understood, like, wait a minute, they're not where I'm at with their life experiences and, understanding how to connect, then it says, okay, then start like this is a brand new person and we're just getting to know them. How would we connect with somebody that we don't know a whole lot about yet, and we're just getting to know them and we're just getting to connect to them? We'd talk to them, we'd share their energy, we'd enjoy their company, but we wouldn't be on a first date. We're not thinking about, I'm going to build an empire with you. On the first date, we're just getting to know each other. And we have the Chariot. It is confidently still moving forward, but it is at one pace at a time. If this person is clearly showing that they care about Cancerian and Cancerian cares about them, it does say, well, Cancerian, imagine if you were wounded, and you had limitations on your mobility for the moment, you're in a wheelchair for the moment, but you're actively healing. It doesn't mean that you can't, still participate and do things, but you have limitations. If Cancerian can look at this as the relationship and how fast we can go has limitations. Let me work with where they're at instead of accidentally thinking that they're where I'm at. So that could be something that would be still very successful. Okay, universe, what about for them? What's the message for them? We have got the Knight of Swords in the reverse. Don't try to rush this don't try to fly when you cannot yet even, like jog. Like, don't go too fast. Don't make promises that are beyond where you can go. Don't talk about stuff that you don't know about yet. Four of Swords, acknowledge, especially like, I'm wondering if there was a lot of confusion because they might have learned how to talk about, love and relationships without actually knowing how to do it. If they've never really had love, but we can all learn how to talk about it because we watch movies. We all learn the same vocabulary because we're in a very like digital world. But if they were talking about stuff and like basically, writing checks that they can't cash about love, about what they're ready for, the universe is like, don't do that anymore. Acknowledge that there's some clouds. Acknowledge that when you don't know what to say, just don't say anything. Or when you're confused, just go ahead and say it. And maybe also open up to Cancerian about the differences in their own life experiences. If they've been hurt or if they're still healing from certain things, the only way probably for Cancerian and this person to like really ease into a connection together that could be very strong and very beautiful is a little bit more patience on Cancerian's side, but then also a lot more transparency on their side and not trying to do things that they're not really capable of yet. And certainly don't promise things to Cancerian that you can't follow through with, because that's going to make them look like a liar, which could have been what already happened. I mean, we didn't really see exactly what went wrong, but we did see Cancerian had to like, deep breath. Let me let go of this. Oh God, let me see this from a different perspective. Oh, wait a minute. So, and they've been devastated without Cancerian. This was a relationship that, like, they have a strong desire to be together, but this whole thing just, it kind of collapsed because there wasn't enough. I don't think Cancerian knew who they were dealing with yet. I don't think they knew this person's limitations, and this person did not convey their lack of experience in maybe just love and connection. So this is kind of a really gentle, really sensitive, delicate storyline, because there is so much love here. And this person thinks the world of Cancerian, and it looks like Cancerian thinks the world of them. But this all has to be handled with a little bit more care, is what it says here. Can this be successful? Four of Wands, Seven of Cups. Sure, of course it can be. But that's not a guarantee. There's a lot of things that they'll have to learn about each other. And look, I don't want to say that there's any like fatal flaw in this connection, but if this person does have a lone wolf attitude, because they came across throughout this as still detached, and they came across as still either feeling like I always mess it up, that's why I don't have connections that work. If they consistently hold on to that idea, there may always be some part of them that still feels like a bit of a lone wolf, even though this says if Cancerian can understand that about them and say they're not a lone wolf, we're in a Four of Wands connection, we are building something amazing, but I do know that they have like moments where they have an aloofness, and I got to reel them back in to the warmth. It kind of feels like with that moon being there, it's almost like not even they understand where there's some kind of like confusion, or some moments where it feels like this could be a really close connection, but there will always still be a little bit of moments here and there where there's distance. And that might be really sad, or if it could be looked at as like, well, that's because of somebody's past. You know, they have moments where they revert back to feeling alone or feeling isolated, and not even they know why. That could be something that could be, as long as it doesn't get too confusing or too frequently or something, perhaps this could be understood. But again, which side will win out? If somebody goes into too much of lone wolf mode, then it would be really confusing. Like, why are you in a commitment with me if you still want to somehow like reject or withdraw or feel unloved? How could you feel unloved when we're together and we're building so much? That is going to be a little bit of a squiggly line to walk. But to me, this really denotes who they've been throughout this. Not even they fully understand something. It feels like they had a tragedy or something somewhere in their life, and it impacted them more than even they recognize. And there's just these moments of like loneliness that they might experience. But Cancerian makes them happier than anybody they've ever been with. And it just says that this could be really successful, but it certainly, again, would take a lot of awareness and consideration. Like, as long as Cancerian doesn't take it personal, as long as they know there's just moments where, you know, my person is a lone wolf for a moment and then they come back and focus again. And it's like, yeah, you're right here with me. We are in this Four of Wands. If it's not lonely or hurtful in any way to Cancerian, I mean, that's a big thing that only Cancerian would be able to tell. Like, does this work for me? Does this not? But there's a big potential to be incredibly happy, but it certainly requires a lot of compassion and understanding with, you know, everybody's life story shapes them. And I think that Cancerian, out of every zodiac out there, I think that Cancerian is the zodiac that could most understand that. At that emotional level, and maybe even understand the tendency to want to pull within oneself, because come on, the crab. That's kind of what the Cancerians do when they're hurt, is they withdraw into their shell. So I could see why this could actually be like the greatest connection ever, because Cancerian would be like, I don't take it personal. I know just that look in your eyes when you go into lone wolf mode for a minute, but I also know, you know, I'll coax you back out of it. You know, it could be a very, very good relationship for these two, because Cancerian could really comprehend that. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Eduardo Jimenez, hi, great to see you. Is it snowing tonight in New York? Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, it is if you like the snow. Personally, I'm really over the snow right now. I'm not a snow baby at all. I like sunshine. Slave Princess, great to see you. Hey, AC. Ongoing Awakening, great to see you, honey. Peace and love. Right back to you, honey. Thank you. 11:08. Ahoy, crustaceans. Love it. Hi, Pauline. Lulu. Nice to see everybody. All right, you guys. Lots of love. I will see you again. Let's see. I think I might do a love message on this channel. I know it's late, but I think we might do just one. All right, guys, I'll see you in a few if you're up late tonight. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye for right now. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.